Yo, the Sports Bag Bros podcast is back at you after a freaking weekend of so many sports that had gone down. We're talking basketball, we're talking boxing, but we're going to get to boxing first. But we already know the weekend that has now gotten us at least a step closer to the NBA championship game and then ultimately a champion. And in boxing, the ultimate champion, the heavyweight champion of the world, is now undisputed for the first time in 25 years as Oleksandr Usyk took care of the undefeated record and Tyson Fury.
Yeah. So do you think it was a great fight? I don't think it was a great fight. It
I
was
think it was a very
entertaining.
good fight.
There you go. I think it was good because I heard things like all-time classic, all out war. I'm like, what fight were these people watching? I can think of probably 20 fights better than this one. But props to Usyk. He got the job done.
Oh, absolutely. He got the job done. And the way he went about it, he was methodical, he was brave, he was tough, and he was resourceful. And he had taken Fury out the way he should have. Now I know people say that it was a close fight and it kind of splitting hairs. But I hear some people now saying it takes more than one round of a good round to win a championship. But
That was Javante. That was Javante Davis. He tweeted that.
yeah, and those other people who kind of jumped on the bandwagon or came up with their own unoriginal idea of what he had said. But I'm going by the fourth round when it was over, I had it 2-2. So there were rounds that Usyk was getting and making this fight even. So it wasn't just that one round. It just happens to be that one round is what separated the winner from the loser. And going by the scorecards for the most part, that's what happened because the one judge that had Fury ahead like he did. Here we go again. But boxing didn't really go in that direction this time.
Well, I thought the first couple rounds were kind of a feeling out rounds. Nobody really did much of anything. But by the middle of the fight, I thought Fury was in total control.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was well ahead, and then he got caught. But even before he got caught, he hit Usyk with some good shots. He was hitting him with some body shots. And you could see Usyk taking deep breaths, like he was feeling it.
But
he came out. It might have been the 7th or 8th round. I'm not sure. Like he just pressed on the gas, like, man, I'm going for it. And I don't think Fury was ready because Fury was in control. And next thing you know, Usyk was all over him, putting pressure, throwing punches. And eventually he caught Fury. And well, he more than hurt him. He almost had him out on his feet.
He had him out on his feet. The ref had every right to stop the fight if he wanted to do it, but he gave him the chance. And I think he gave him the chance based on his recuperative skills or ability back even in the Deontay Wilder fight. You go into these fights as a referee knowing these fighters. We might not have heard of these refs before, but they've been around boxing for a long time. They know boxing. And if they have a fight this big, they're doing the research they have to do, knowing about a fighter. These are two prominent fighters, so you know about those guys. So you know the history of these fighters. Like Arturo Gatti, if he's getting beaten down, a ref is probably not going to be so quick to stop the fight because you know what he's done in the past. Same thing here. Tyson Fury was given the benefit of the doubt, even though he was getting beaten from pillar to post, literally. And the ref just gave him a standing 8, and he should have gone down anyway because the ropes is what held him up.
So I thought when the referee stepped in, I thought he was stopping the fight. But he put his hand up and he was looking for the count. I was like, always calling it a knockdown. So he was not incorrect in calling it a knockdown, and he wouldn't have been incorrect if he decided to stop the fight.
Exactly.
That's how I heard Fury was. But what I'm seeing, people are saying it should have been stopped in the 9th. What are you crying about? Usyk still won the fight.
Exactly.
It's not like he allowed Fury to continue when he shouldn't have, and Fury somehow won the last 5 rounds. Usyk won the fight. What are you crying about?
These are boxing people. That's what they do. They whine. They're emotional. They don't care. They don't make sense a whole lot of times. There are some who do. Hopefully the majority. But
he had to fight 3 more rounds. He had to fight 3 more rounds. It should have been stopped. Yeah, but credit to Usyk, man, because like I said, he was getting those body shots, and I'm not gonna say he looked like he was about to fold, but it did look like Fury was in full command of the fight. And he came out just like how Ryan Garcia needed to change the tone of the fight against Haney, so did Usyk, and he took control back, and that's how he pulled it out. I think Fury should retire. He's gonna be that much older. He took a beating, and I don't see him going to win a rematch.
You know what?
There were times when he hit Usyk with good shots, and he just couldn't follow up. Like, I'm not gonna say he was buzzed, but he definitely felt it. And if he could have followed up, maybe he could have gotten a knockdown. Maybe he could have taken him out. But he couldn't follow up.
But he was
sharp. And I texted
though.
you before the fight. He got those skinny ass Deontay Wilder legs. I was like, I didn't like that.
He's about to boogie tonight. Yeah, he was sharp. He was sharp in the beginning of the fight, and he had his jab working. It was effective, and Usyk was trying to figure out a way. And to Usyk's credit, he started off the fight coming forward. He didn't take those backward steps you thought he might have taken as a smaller guy. And we thought that when he had gotten inside, that Fury would have leaned on him like he had done Deontay Wilder and using that size advantage to his advantage. He started to later on. The point is that he decided to get on his toes and started doing a little clowning routine. Usyk wasn't letting that happen. He wasn't buying into it. He wasn't falling for the routine of possum or whatever Fury was doing. Usyk wasn't worried about it. And he just kept pressing on. And then he kept coming straight ahead in some cases, which I was a little worried about. As a southpaw, you have the advantage to block jabs anyway, and he wasn't blocking those jabs. Then he started going to the weak side angle of of Tyson Fury. In this instance, he'll be to his left. He's moving down. He's going to actually to his right, but Tyson Fury's left, trying to get him on offline, trying to get online, offline. And that's when he started coming in and making things happen a little bit more. He was jabbing to the body. Like he was using the left to the body in the early going, trying to soften him up. And it was kind of effective. But when Tyson got on his bike, he used that reach. I think that the pressure that Usyk had put on him from the beginning, that mental pressure, it became more mental pressure later on. Tyson Fury just broke because he was forced to fight and do more than he was doing in previous fights. He couldn't get that rest period. He was getting tired. And all that posturing was all mental games that he was trying to play, and it didn't work.
I also think he might have underestimated Usyk, because when he would throw the left right to the body and there were good shots, you could see him like he had a little smirk on his face. Like, yeah, I'm gonna take him out with a body shot eventually. But to Usyk's credit, he took everything Fury threw. Yeah. But I think he was expecting him to fold. And when Usyk didn't fold, it was all over.
Yeah, and Tyson Fury he's seen the Dubois fight where the body shot that was questionable put Usyk down, even though they looked at it as a low blow. He went to the body based on that. He knows this. Just like we're talking about it, he goes into a fight knowing that there's a body issue with some of these Ukrainian fighters, Loma included, that you hit him in the body, they don't like it. Most people don't like the body, but these high elite fighters where no one really goes to the body until they go to the body. We saw Crusher do that, against Andre Ward. When Andre Ward went to his Kovalov's body, he started folding up. Well, we saw now Loma doesn't like the body shots. We see now that Usyk didn't like body shots when he fought Dubois. He didn't like him now because a bigger man was doing it. But he's not a knockout puncher. But anytime anyone 260 plus pounds hits anyone, you're going to freaking feel it, especially when you're the heaviest weight you've ever been at 223 pounds, but your real skeleton is probably 210.
Yeah, I didn't like Fury coming in looking the way he did. Like I said, he had those Deontay Wilder legs. I didn't think I thought it was a bad sign, and I didn't see him being able to follow up on solid shots that he landed, that Usyk definitely felt and backed up from. And to me, that those are signs that he needs to hang him up.
Well, you know what? The reason why I say he probably doesn't need to hang it up is because he was that sharp early. And it was the battle of attrition that slowed him down, which normally happens in a boxing match anyways. It was just Usyk putting the mental pressure on him and then starting to touch him and getting him, hitting sharp punches, catching you on the chin, hitting you in the right part of the body, softening you up. I think it was a culmination of all of what Usyk had done from the first round until he got to that ninth round and really batter him the way that he had done. Up until then.
Yeah, but I mean, Usyk's not even really a big puncher like that.
No, he's not a big puncher, but you know what? Once again, a 223-pound grown man hitting you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. He that was the worst Fury ever been in the ring on his feet.
Yeah, against a guy like that who knows how to close a show. Deontay Wilder just goes like Clubber Lang. He just throws. There was a method to the madness in what Usyk was doing. When he had him hurt, he was setting up punches. He was, getting his range together, trying to make sure he wasn't crowding his own punches, wasn't smothering his own punches. But I'm just saying that beforehand, Tyson Fury, he was using his skills. He was showing sharpness and all that into the actual attrition of the fight is what slowed him down, which is a natural occurrence when you're fighting against a high-quality fighter, which Usyk is. So that wasn't the signs of a shot fighter. And in fact, I think he took Usyk just as serious because he came in underweight from what he has fought in the past. He took him serious enough to lose that weight, knowing that he needed to be more agile. He showed that he was agile in the beginning. Usyk was just a smarter fighter, the more resilient fighter, probably one of the top mentalities of a boxer right now because he just weathers the storm. You can see it in his eyes. He fights down in his mouth guard, and he just goes in there and gets it. He was getting caught with uppercuts. I mean, when you're a southpaw, that right uppercut's there for you if you're standing there, and that's why he was getting caught with lead uppercuts and regular uppercuts, and one of those uppercuts buzzed him. Yeah,
and see, that's what I mean. Fury, he was just throwing like one shot at a time, like, oh, eventually I'm gonna get him. Like he thought he had Deontay Wilder power, like, but he didn't do anything to set up those punches. And you followed that up after you followed the Ngannou fight with this. Yeah, he looked much better,
a whole lot better.
He was in better shape, but still, he's 35 going on 36. I just see signs of him slowing down, and I don't think he's going to beat Usyk in the rematch. So I say, who else is he going to fight? Well, if you're not fighting for the championship, what's the point?
Yeah, that's probably true. Maybe he wants to get AJ once and for all because everybody in the UK would be paying for that fight. Probably everybody in Europe, period, would be playing for that fight. But I'm telling you, as far as the battle plan goes and what he had done and throwing those pot shot uppercuts, that's part of a plan. You don't have to have a follow-up because if you're throwing that uppercut and being as effective with that one pot shot uppercut, that could be the reason why the knockout or the buzz happened. And that's how that buzz did happen. He didn't do the typical throw the uppercut and follow up with the left hook. He would just pot shot in the same way Floyd would just pot shot somebody.
He's no Floyd Mayweather.
Huh? Oh, no, he's not Floyd
Mayweather, though.
For the heavyweights and for what he was doing, it was effective pot shotting with the uppercut because it was available. But because Usyk is so smart and his IQ in boxing is so high, not even just from his pro career, which is limited fights, but 350 freaking amateur fights, you kind of understand this thing. Where you throw those punches, you know what you can do, and you build up the tolerance for these punches over time, and Usyk was able to do that. Skill set.
Well, I'm saying you can't fight like you have that kind of power. Like I'm going to catch him eventually, without doing the other things. And he was trying to pot shot him, and obviously it wasn't enough.
Well, he was pot shotting with the uppercut because that's the least. I mean, that's the least expected punch. The hardest punch in boxing for most boxers is the uppercut.
Yeah, but then once Usyk stopped coming in with his head down,
he stopped coming in like that. He made adjustment, and then the uppercut wasn't landing as much. But for the time that he had done it until Usyk made the adjustment, it was landing. It just didn't have the sizzle on it should have had. Or, give Usyk credit for being tough because he did get buzzed by that uppercut, but he hung in there. He had to bite down, and he just made it a battle of attrition. And we saw Tyson Fury wasn't ready for that battle of attrition on that level. He eventually finished the fight, and it was a close decision, which it should have been. There was no one running away with that fight. But I think that Usyk...
in the rematch, Usyk comes out with the foot on the gas from round one.
But he did it from round one this time. It's just that, now he knows what to expect.
No, he was like... No, there was a concerted effort midway through that fight where he was not applying that type of pressure.
Oh, no, he stopped doing the pressure for a while. But, I mean, he started off in the beginning. And then he walked him down a few times. That's why I thought it was 2-2 after 4 rounds. And then, of course, I guess it was part of the adjustment or part of the game plan to do something different because he was getting caught. And when Fury was jabbing, he was kind of pulling away. And then Usyk felt that desperation, or it was part of the game plan to really put the pedal to the metal. But I think he already had gotten Tyson Fury tired from the very beginning from walking him down initially, making him think. Because if you're a big guy, man, and you're not used to fighting backwards, they keep saying fighting off the back foot because not by design, because you're forced to. He was expecting this little guy to run like he calls him a rabbit. That's what he was thinking. The rabbit didn't run. He became the rabbit. He was getting chased around until his jab got him out of it. But Usyk is so freaking intelligent He just made the adjustments necessary, went back to the body, came back to the head, and he doesn't get tired. His conditioning, he doesn't get tired.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was Fury's mistake. He shouldn't have backed up. He should have just met him in the middle of the ring.
Whew. And then realize, because if he's in the middle of the ring, skill-wise, Usyk has the advantage because smaller fighters typically have the advantage. Fighters from lighter weight classes.
Yeah, but then
where everyone doesn't have power.
You saw him throw a jab and then grab him and start leaning on him. He could have tried to do that from round one.
Yeah, he started doing that.
He would have worn down Usyk.
But if Usyk is coming forward and he's just jabbing you and he's being very selective with the punches he's throwing, he's not smothering his punches. Because if he's smothering his punches, he's leaning in and then you're able to lean on him. But if he's just shooting you to the body with the left hand and then coming back with the right jab, or the right jab and then come back with the left hand and stepping back, there's no room to do it. There's no room to lean on him. There's hardly any room to clinch. We didn't see a lot of clinches in this fight.
No, there weren't. Even when
Fury was hurt, the plan by Usyk. Yeah, Usyk staying away is the reason why there were no clinches, because if there were clinches, it automatically goes into Fury's advantage because of the weight. And we've seen how he uses his weight. You keep this guy moving, keep moving, coming at the angles, keep him moving, keep him turning. And that's what he did. And it's not like Fury didn't do anything. His skills were showing and on display. It's just that I still think he ultimately got tired. And the plan was make him work, whether mentally and physically, the first several rounds. A guy that big, bro, you're going to get tired, man. I don't care how good your conditioning is.
Here's another thing that I don't think a lot of people considered. The wars with Wilder, he got dropped. He was stunned badly.
Like 5 times in the 3 fights.
Yeah. And we say Wilder's not the same. Fury's not the same.
No, I don't think
even though he won those fights, he's not the same.
That third fight is the one that's like almost the equivalent to the Thrill in Manila. These guys are probably at the top of their form for that point in their careers. And they just put on the performance that probably left a piece of them, or looks like it left a piece of them inside the ring. Because now, subsequently, Deontay Wilder has not looked the same. And now Tyson Fury hasn't looked the same for 2 fights. He did look better in this fight, but coming from what he had done in the previous fight, moving forward and throwing a punch and landing and looking like a pro for a change is more than what he did against Ngannou. But yeah, you can't possibly be the same fighter after especially that third fight with Deontay Wilder. Deontay probably doesn't have the skills that people would like to see, but that power is power. And he dropped him like a yo-yo if you look at it from all 3 fights, up and down, and Fury has come back from it. There's no question in his heart. It's just a matter of that damage, like car crashes. Heavyweights are collisions like football players. And those bang, you bang that Lamborghini up. It doesn't take much for that Lamborghini to be out of commission for good.
So where do you rank Usyk pound for pound?
Oh, pound for pound, man. You know what? I had Bud up there. I had a New Way up there, 1A, 1B. But if you look at the entirety of their resumes and what has been done, Usyk has to leapfrog both of them and be number 1. I think so because of the body of his work. Look, if you look at what Neary and Fulton are the 2 biggest names on the New Way's record, and they weren't looked at in the same light as even Tyson Fury. And you look at what Usyk has done from cruiserweight up till now. So this is kind of a lifetime achievement award that got him to this point. And what he has done between AJ, the 2 guys who had the names, and now Tyson Fury, he has to go there. You look at Bud, we still talking about the Spence fight. What else? Sean Porter. I mean, his skill set is world-class skill set. His skill set is probably legendary. But based on the resume, you got to go with Usyk.
But is pound for pound based off resume?
Yeah, because you got to get to that point.
And the skills that boxers display.
And the skills of a cruiserweight to move up to the heavyweight division where we have super heavyweights now, dudes that are 240 and more, and you're still the former 200-pound guy that's now beating these guys. You beat all those guys down in where you were. Now you're beating these guys. You're beating these guys. And we see it's not just you just coming out there and outpointing them. This isn't Eddie Chambers. This isn't Chris Bird. This is somebody who's standing there. He's using subtle movements. He's boxing, absolutely high boxing IQ, but he's taking damage. And he's responding from that damage against these top fighters that was undefeated. And now, well, except for AJ, but I'm saying Fury being undefeated, and he's coming out on top. And man, I mean, twice with AJ, now with Fury, these are the guys that we thought were just the 2 top guys. This cruiserweight kicks down the door, wipes both of them out.
I can't leapfrog them.
But I don't want to leapfrog freaking Bud. Bud deserves.
It's not that want or don't want to. I just can't. Based off what I've seen, I can't.
Based on what I've seen,
I give him a strong number 3, but I can't leapfrog him.
Man, I'm just going by the entire resume because
and that's even with the knockout that wasn't counted as a knockout. I'll overlook that and give him number 3.
You know what? I can look at what Ali got beaten. He beat freaking Norton in the third fight at Yankee Stadium when everybody, even an Ali fan like myself, can say he freaking lost, but they gave it to him. You know, but on the record, when you look at Box Rec, that's still a win. The Dubois fight, same thing. And Usyk closed it out the way he should have closed it out too. You know, one exchange for another. He got the knockout. He won the fight. But I just think overall resume is what leads you to this pound for pound rankings. It's not like he's coming from 0 to number 1. He's been coming up the ranks to begin with. He didn't have much ground to make up. This, I believe, put him in a position to make it up. And just look at the names on the resumes of the guys that I mentioned.
It seems like
they're just not there.
It seems like you have recency bias because every time one of them fights, you're like, he's number 1.
Oh, no, there's no recency bias because, I mean, Usyk's, I'm looking at it for what it is. The pound for pound ranking goes by your resume. It doesn't just go by your skill set. You can fight scrubs, look good, and get notoriety. He's not fighting scrubs. He's actually fighting guys who are
it's the entire package. It's the entire package. It's not just resume. It's also
a skill. It's entire package. His skill set. You tell me his skill set isn't one of the best? I mean,
number 3 is not one of the best.
Bud's beating Spence. Now,
but is number 3 not one of the best?
Oh, yeah. No, he's the best, I think, right now among the 3. I mean, your opinion, he could be 3. I have him at number 1. It's not recency bias. I'm just being objective with he just did and his whole resume. Still undefeated. Bud's still undefeated. But look at Bud. We're still talking about a Spence fight. We could talk about an AJ fight now, and we could talk about a Fury fight now. That's not recency bias. Those are quality names, especially for that weight class, especially in this era of a guy who doesn't even belong there. He's a freaking cruiserweight. 10 years ago, no one was even talking about him.
Yeah, but he's not the first cruiserweight to go to heavyweight.
Oh, no, he's not the first cruiserweight. But at this moment, for this time, he's the guy that I believe is doing the most. He's not ducking anyone. Bud's not ducking anyone. He was frozen out. And Niue isn't ducking anybody. He's great himself. And I'm not even going to look at it. He's been knocked down. That's part of boxing. But for right now, I think that'd be number 1. He'd be number 1. Bud would be my number 2, and Niue would be freaking like 2B, and just over 3. Because I mean, man, it's almost a crime to even have to say it. But I think based on last week, and it's kind of like putting the lid on the cup with this, what Usyk did. He could walk out right now. He's going to the Hall of Fame. He could walk out of boxing right now, undefeated, and be one of the greatest of this era. Because I don't think that boxing today allows anyone to be the greatest of all time anymore. It's just a different nature of boxing. That's why even with 50 wins or 49 wins with Mayweather, being the greatest of all time is not even an argument. You're 49-0 or 50-0 when there's been fighters who were 70-0, Chavez in particular. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't, I don't know. I just don't think there are opportunities anymore. Like right now, if you had a Mount Rushmore of boxing in which everyone can agree with, who knows what the hell they're talking about, no one here that's fought recently could be on that list. It's like stuck. It's like,
that's true.
It's where it's at, and no one else could join it.
That's true. But let's get to the NBA, man.
Yes. Now we finish that up, and now the NBA shows up. Let's get these damn Knicks out of the way first before we go to the embarrassment.
1 week later, but I'm happy. See you, Jamal Murray. See you, punk-ass Mike Malone.
You got something against them. Oh, yeah. Well, after what happened.
Hey, they gave me ammunition, man.
Yeah. Well, after what happened, I can see why the vitriol is there, and deservedly so for them. But you know what? Those 2 dogs the dogs that are on that team that got them to where they were last year were the dogs who stood up, and no one else stood up in this game here. But we'll get to that after we have to talk about the freaking Knicks going to Madison Square Garden in front of Knick legends. And that doesn't include John Starks. I don't know how the hell they even call him a legend. And getting blown out. I understand it's a mass unit. I understand there aren't a whole bunch of players in this team that are healthy. I understand even that if they would have won this series, it wouldn't have mattered the next series because Jalen Brunson now has a fractured freaking hand. The Knicks got blown out at home. They were playing catch up from the very beginning because Indiana was so freaking on fire. There's nothing you can do about it. In their face, not in their face. They were throwing threes like the Harlem Globetrotters. They were just hitting everything.
They came out on a mission, man. They came out with a vengeance, firing on all cylinders. Their shooting percentage was insane. It was like the Knicks weren't even playing defense.
And they were.
It's like they didn't have an answer. And you mentioned Brunson fracturing his hand. That's unfortunate because, as long as he's on the court, Knicks at home, they got that energy. The game was not out of hand so far that they couldn't come back.
Yeah.
But as soon as he went out with his hand, it would come back over. There was not going to be any comeback. And that's unfortunate. I would have loved to have seen it if he could have brought them back.
And there were so many injuries going into that game. You had guys like Hart and like Onubi coming in, and trying to pull a little Willis Reed coming in when the team needed him most in the seventh freaking game. That's where everyone has to come in, all hands on deck. They came in to help, and they just couldn't do it. They were so beaten up. That's no excuse. They had gotten this far even with those injuries, but it just kept getting compounded. Going into this game, I said Dante DiVincenzo is going to have to get 36 points. That's exactly what I said. The dude dropped 39, setting record for the freaking three-pointers and all that. He was nasty yesterday, but he didn't necessarily have his freaking Robin because he was Batman yesterday.
It wasn't enough.
But
even the hustle plays, Josh Hart, and I know he was limited with the abdominal strain. He's been getting anywhere from 13 to 18 rebounds, second shot opportunities. Pacers shut that down.
Oh, man, you know what? They double team Jalen Brunson anyway. They know where the Knicks go is where Jalen Brunson can take them, regardless of who decides to step out of character and do what they do. Dante DiVincenzo has played well this season. There's been 35 and 36-point games in his season this past season. So he's capable. I think a lot of players in the NBA are actually capable of doing that on any given night, even the last guy on the bench, if the coach allowed him to do it. They just have that kind of talent. But the Knicks just didn't have anything else, man. I mean, it was just, what could you do on the road? At home, what could you do against this freaking Indiana team that was just shooting like everyone was Steph Curry yesterday? They had a Steph Curry contest. 3 and 4 guys are shooting and it was just going in. Mid-range game, long distance, and then the rebound.
Other than putting someone on their ass, I don't know. Like, you gotta let them know, hey, you're just not gonna take these open shots.
There were too many guys doing it.
I'm just saying, you gotta put somebody down. That's about the only thing I can think of. If you're not gonna be there to deny the shots, then you just gotta put somebody on their ass.
And you know what? And all of this, even though I'm a Knicks fan, always been a Knicks fan, I have to look at Halliburton the way he played because he was off this entire series. He didn't play anything like he played during the regular season. I think it had a lot to do with that hamstring injury he's had. And you know how it could be for point guards, those guys with those quick twitch and all those sudden moves. You don't trust your hamstring. And this guy finally looked like he felt comfortable yesterday, getting the points. He didn't need 21 assists. Everybody else was just lit yesterday. And he led the team, though, the way he needed to lead the team and justified that huge contract he got in the offseason. And they move on to play the Celtics now, the 2 highest scoring teams in the NBA.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Take the over.
Yeah, that should be fun. But and the Celtics, they better come focused. They've had some bad losses. They go to Indianapolis type 1-1. It's gonna be real interesting.
You know what? And the Celtics have been good for that bad game, or even 2. It just happens to be they're so good that even if they have that second bad game, they can still pull it off. It'll just be closer than it probably should have been. Now, does Porzingis play in this series? He missed the entire last series. Does he even play? There's been rest for the entire team. He continues to rest. Does he come back? And he's going to make a difference when he does come back.
He should, but will he be in game shape?
Based on what the team has done, I mean, he could wean himself into game shape, to where he doesn't have to be out there for all that time. He could be out there 15 minutes,
work himself
minutes.
Back into it. But I haven't heard when he's coming back. But they're definitely going to need him if they plan on winning the chip.
Yeah, man, because you got your old dogs out there like Al Horford, man. Still looking good from the 3-point line during the regular season. And he did, I think, drop like 20 plus 25 points the other night. So, he still got some game for the old guy. And just to think about, he's the only one left from that Gator National Championship still in the NBA. Joker Noah was there. He's the only guy left. Yeah. Absolute. Hey, he's a damn player. But that's what happened. Well, do you want to even go back to the Oklahoma City game, the OKC game against Dallas?
Say again?
Do you want to go back to the OKC game against Dallas since we weren't on when Dallas ended up closing it out?
Not really. I didn't think that was a foul. He got ball, and they always say if you get ball first, it doesn't matter what happens after that. But then now they want to move the goalpost. Well, he got him on the arm on the swipe through. I don't know. I would have preferred like no whistle, let Kyrie put in the game winner. But once they blow the whistle and then they go look at it, and then they still call it a foul, that's where I thought it was bogus.
Well, so now Dallas moves on, and OKC, the young team, you expect them to be back. I think they have a plethora of draft picks, and I'm sure some old guy who kind of fits in nicely with them would want to come in and help cohesiveness on that. They have cohesiveness already. I think he's bringing a veteran in there to kind of help balance the scales of youth and veteran leadership that may help them push forward in the next time they get the opportunity.
Just one more thing about the Knicks. I think Knicks fans should be ultra proud of that squad.
Absolutely, man.
But what is kind of disappointing, and I can understand the disappointment, you had high expectations. Seeing the photo of Spike Lee in his face, like, oh my gosh, we lost game 7 at home. Like, dude, man, be proud. That team, it was a fucking mash unit, dude.
That's exactly what it was. And I say, the freaking Knicks, first of all, Knicks fans, just like Yankee fans, just like New York fans, that's just how they are. The Knicks could have won the championship, and then the next day they're complaining about what they need to do for next season. That's just
but they exceeded expectations. It's not like they were the chalk going into the playoffs.
Nope, they weren't.
The Knicks should win it.
They surprisingly were the second seed.
And then you get bounced. I don't know. I just don't see it. Like, if I was a Knicks fan, I'd be like, all right, you guys this year, but watch out, man. If we're healthy next year, we're coming.
Man. Yeah, you see Julius Randle just sitting there in street clothes, kind of gaining weight in the face. You can see he doesn't have a chance to run around and do whatever, get in shape, looking a little heavy on the bench. Man, and you just all of these injuries, man. One after the other, man. And then once again, if they would have won yesterday, it wouldn't have really mattered because now you're going to go into Boston deficient at the best position you have, which is Brunson, who can't. Yeah. He's not going to play with a fractured hand. He can't. He can't pull a Willis Reed with that.
That would have been a sweep.
Oh, that's exactly what it would have been, man. You had like schoolyard dudes out there by the end of the game. That's what you had, man. That's what was left. So maybe the Knicks can do some good things in the offseason, bring a little bit more depth, but you know what you have on that bench now is all guys playing the way they play. And Obi Toppin, what do you think of this guy? When he was with the Knicks, you see the athleticism. He gets some opportunities, but he only shows flashes of that athleticism, getting the alley-oops because he's fantastic doing it. And when he has an opportunity to dunk. But in the game, with the consistency that he needs, he doesn't do it often.
I haven't seen enough of him, honestly, but I think he's in a good spot with the Pacers. Mm-hmm. He's not one of the top options where he can kind of find his groove, make a play here. That's how impact. They're not going to call out plays for him. They're not going to expect him to drop 20. So he's playing without pressure.
But looking at the way he's built and looking at his athleticism, for the time I had a chance to look at his athleticism when he was with the Knicks, I thought that, if he's not going to be with the Knicks, go somewhere else and really step up and show that, you're the guy. And he's not the guy. He's just another role player. And he gets his opportunities. He can get the crowd into it because he has ridiculous dunks, especially on the alley-oop. But, man, I was expecting more from his career. He's a Brooklyn guy. So, of course, Knicks fans love the guys who come from New York. And if they happen to be on New York's team, that's even better for them so they can criticize you more personally. Or if you go somewhere else, they can still criticize you still personally, no matter where you go. But I thought I would expect more from him. But anyways, yep, the Knicks are out. The basketball season takes another step closer to a champion being decided and one step closer for the Minnesota Timberwolves, that young team,
yes,
the team
sir.
that you said would be the team that could beat them if anyone could beat the Denver Nuggets because of the size advantage and, of course, the youth. It played out, Nostradamus. That's how it played out.
It did. It was just crazy because they got contributions from everybody. And Naz Reid came in, you're looking at that game. The T-Wolves are coming back. Karl Anthony Towns gets his 5th foul. He goes, sits down. Naz Reid comes out. Don't worry, I got this. Dropping dimes, tip dunks, splashing threes. I'm like, but the most surprising thing, after Chuck said Rudy Gobert needs to sit down, and I said this too. I said he's a liability on offense. Why do they have him setting the screens? They're not worried about him. Well, shit, in the fourth quarter, they should have been worried about Rudy. Man, he was knocking down free throws. That turnaround jumper to beat the 24-second shot clock was insane. He threw that up, and I was like, no way. Oh, shit, he fucking dropped it. I was like, and you know, if people watch the morning shows, they're going to say I'm repeating what they say. Because everybody says when that shot went in, it was over. Because when things like that happen, you know it's your night. That's the reason why I thought it was over. Like Rudy Gobert hits a turnaround to beat the clock. He don't even shoot like that ever. He gets putbacks and dunks. So when he hit that shot, I can't remember, maybe give him a 6-point lead, maybe 8-point lead. I was like, man, if Gobert's hitting shit like that, Denver's done. And they were.
See, I'm not even going to front. After that Knicks loss, that took a little pain in the heart, man. I didn't even check out the nightcap, man. I was like, forget about that.
Oh,
then I started getting a little bit of reports that coming in about what's going on during the game. And I'm like, oh, man. They're up by 15 at halftime. I'm looking at, I think, up by 15 at halftime, somewhere around there. But you look at Jokic, he had 15 rebounds. He's dominating, absolutely destroying it in the first half. He ends the game with 19 rebounds. That means he only got 4 more rebounds after halftime. And then the young boys just took over. I mean, and I tell you what, the key there, just looking at the stat line, the guy who didn't show up, who I thought needed to show up because he's been consistent, at least in the playoffs, freaking Aaron Gordon, just 4 points. He's probably just as big a reason as the rest of the team for not really getting it done at home.
Yeah, I think Minnesota, you got to give them credit. Gordon, he got 1, if not 2 dunks. I think that's how he scored. He got another dunk blocked, or else he would have had 6 points. But they took away, you know, the things that he was doing. You know, I said last week they're allowing him to roam the baseline too freely. Well, they shut that down. But people are killing Michael Porter Jr. He's got to give more than 7 points. You know, usually he's good anywhere from 15 to 22 or 25, whatever. I can't kill Michael Porter Jr. He took his shots. It's not like he disappeared. In the first half, he just missed them. But he did hit a big shot, a big 3 in the second half. I want to know, where was KCP? I think I remember him hitting 1 3-pointer, but for the most part, I didn't see him hunting for shots when Jokic, because Ant was locking down Murray, and Murray had to run around crazy, get a pick here, you know, give up the ball, go around 2 more screens just to get open. You know, it was kind of like Steph Curry, because Ant was hawking them. When that's going on, somebody's got to take the pressure. Hey, KCP, you hit a shot here. KCP, where are you? I don't know.
I don't know.
So, I mean, I'm saying
our dairy section.
Everybody other than Jokic and Murray needs criticism. I'm just not going to kill Porter Jr. because at least he tried.
Jokic and Murray, yeah, exactly. Everybody but Jokic and Murray needs criticism. Those are the guys that were the keys to last year's championship, and the only ones who seem to have shown up because they know what that championship is all about. Christian Brown didn't do a damn thing either. He had done some things last season. You would thought that he would take another step forward in a Game 7 at home in front of the home crowd. He's a no-show. So you just have the 2 dogs who are known for being dogs in his team stepping up against a bunch of wolves, Timberwolves, a bunch of young Timberwolves with Rudy Gobert playing defense and offense.
But for Denver not to have any other players besides Murray and Jokic in double figures.
How do you expect to win?
Exactly. But props to Ant. He was not having a good game. He was 1 for 6. I was tweeting, anybody seen Ant, where is he? Is he even in Denver? And he showed up the second half for sure. People were saying he didn't have a great game, and he didn't. But the second half, I always say, don't tell me what you did. Tell me when you did it. Yeah. He hit big shots. He hit the dagger 3 to put him up 10. From that point on, it was pretty much over. So, again, don't tell me what you did. Tell me when you did it. When they needed that dagger 3, he splashed it. When they needed momentum going into the fourth quarter, he hit the 3-pointer at the buzzer to end the third quarter, cut the lead to 1. So people want to say, oh, compare him to Jordan. He's not Jordan. And yeah, he's not Jordan. But don't kill him. Don't kill him because his game was not that bad. And then when you consider that he held Murray in check for most of the third quarter and most of the fourth quarter, hey, he's finding other ways to contribute.
Yep, and it obviously worked. He's still the leader of this team, regardless of what Cat did. He's still the leader of this team. He's the face of the franchise right now, but you just have a bunch of young guys who are tenacious, and it looks like, man, now moving forward, if the Celtics takes care of business, I think between the Celtics and because I'm thinking against Dallas, man. It's like I'm looking ahead already saying that Minnesota's not going to have any problem with Dallas. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll have a problem with Dallas, man. I don't think they underestimate Dallas. And if it comes down to it, it looks like the Celtics may be the favorites, obviously, against Indiana. But the way Indiana's been playing, and now with confidence and Tyrese Halliburton playing the way he has, well, just as of yesterday, it might be the beginning of something big for the playoff spin now, since he didn't play so well all playoff long. They might get something done. But regardless of who's coming out of the East, I'm still thinking that Minnesota takes care of all of that. And Dallas is just a stumbling block before they get there. But what the hell do we know? You're shooting dice out here now, man. For real.
Well, the T-Wolves are the favorites, and I consider them the favorites. Excuse me. I think they should win, but you never know. Kyrie's been quiet. He can explode for 40, and if Luka drops 35, 40 in the same game, they're going to be hard to beat. But that T-Wolves defense, I don't think they're going to allow it. And you can say, well, Luka gets 40, Kyrie gets 40, and if everybody else gets 12, that's only 92. They can beat them.
Yeah, bro. It was a 201.5 over under yesterday. You get 188. That's what you get. Come on. You got 188. You got some high scoring college games that get better than that, man. But that just shows you the defense that they're playing, though, and those young guys have the energy to play that defense this late in the season. Man, I mean,
and Ant's already saying Kyrie's his man. That's his matchup. So he wants to smoke. I would think that's Conley's man, but okay, go get him, man.
Well, you know what? If Kyrie got some guts, got some pride, he'll just take that challenge and try to show that he does still have the best handle in the NBA, allegedly the best handle in NBA history. Let's see if it works out then. I don't know if Kyrie is that guy. You think still at this point in his career on this team, he can still drop 40, 45?
I don't want to say he can't. I think he can. He's not that old.
I know, but I see him with the ball sometimes, man. The explosiveness isn't there anymore like it used to be. I mean, he's an older guy. You could expect that, but it looks like it's a complete different look.
He still can shoot, too.
Yeah, he can shoot. I know I saw him do a little bit of that. But I'm just saying now with Minnesota, I'm not trying to just throw Dallas away, but I'm kind of throwing Dallas away. If they get one win out of this, that's cool because they should. You know what I mean? One home win. But I think Minnesota just – that first game is going to be interesting as hell. And Minnesota should – if they blow
that's another thing. That's another thing. You know, coming off the high of Game 7, it's hard to rebound. Dallas could have a really good shot to steal Game 1.
Or it could be a whole bunch of confidence, but you know what? I think that same confidence they had in Game 1 and 2 in Denver in the beginning of the series is what led to them getting blown out at home the 2 consecutive games themselves. So yeah, I mean, so I can't even predict now anymore. At least feel confident in thinking about what's going to happen in the game, the way these games have been going. You know, trading off, blowout, 35 points here. Okay, we top you with 40 points there. The next freaking game or wherever they're doing. But yeah, I just don't think Dallas has the personnel to match up with them anyway. I mean, if Denver didn't, Dallas sure as hell don't.
Oh, it remains to be seen. Like I said, I think they're the favorites, but coming off the high of Game 7, it's going to be hard for them to bring that intensity all the way back up in Game 1.
Yeah,
it's human nature. It's happened so many times in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
I'm not going to give the home crowd the credit I gave them before, saying, man, they're ready for it. Don't leave that alone, man. What you do, crowd. I don't know what the hell you're doing.
But before we move on, man, we got to talk about Mike Malone. Did you see his post-game press conference?
No, I did not.
So a reporter asked, how tough is it, being that you were up down 20 and you guys lost and blah, blah. And he goes, the season's over. The season's over. That's the end of it. And he's, what a dumbass question. You know what? I get you're upset, coach, but that does not give you the right to be an ass with the media. you know, it now it's not surprising why Jamal Murray did what he did. You know, it's coming from the top.
Coming from the top.
Yeah.
But they blew a 15-point lead, man.
No,
Whatever the hell
it went up to 20 before in the third quarter. It was 15. They got it up to 20.
But then they got outscored. They got doubled up on in this third quarter. Whatever the hell was going on in that damn Minnesota locker room, they came back out and outscored them 28-14. They doubled them up. And that's how I guess it all began. And they took it off from there. And then they outscored them again in the fourth, obviously. And now 98-90 later, here we go. Minnesota moving on to the next round.
Don't be an ass with the media because you lost. You know, if you're so upset, prolong or delay the post game press conference. Be like, look, man, I need some time. I'm not
cool
ready.
Off. Yep, they do have that cool off.
Don't go out there and be an ass with the media. Don't show your ass. To me, you know, they say adversity reveals one's character, and him and Murray, their character was revealed. So they can.
Everybody's cool when they catch the championship and in the crosshairs for that one. Hey, rightfully so, because when everything is going well, everybody's smiling, everything's going jolly. Everybody acts like everybody gets along, but when things don't go your way, we get to see you start
last year after they beat the Lakers, you know, we're the Lakers' daddy. You know, it's all well and good when you're winning, but now when you lose, you're gonna be an ass. Come on, man.
Well, that's I guess that's who they are. That's who they are. Jokic is the only one not really saying anything because, well, he never says anything anymore, except for these hotel.com commercials. Aside from that, hey, I think he just wants to go to hell home like last year.
Plus, I think he said his team was fatigued. What, the altitude got to your team? It didn't affect the T-Wolves?
The home court advantage.
The T-Wolves had to come back from 20. They weren't tired from fighting back. Come on, man.
And that's what I thought the issue would have been, though. Being down like that, having to fight to get back. It's kind of like the Knicks yesterday. They got as close as 6, but they were just exhausted from trying to get there. Then they fell right back down. So I thought, you know, I could see how that would have happened here, especially in that high altitude. But the young dudes were able to pull it off.
Yeah, but you think about it, the T-Wolves aren't all that young. Michael Conley's been in the league forever. Cat's been in the league for like 9 years. Gobert's been in the league a long time.
A young dude, man, because I still remember him back in Kentucky. Like, yo, I'm still thinking about that.
Other than Ant, I don't know how old McDaniels is, but other than Ant, everybody else, you know, they've been in the league a while.
So here we go, though.
But they follow his lead. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the alpha dog in that team, man. And I don't think anyone even questions it. But they do step up when they need to step up. And now we have this matchup coming up, Dallas and Minnesota. I don't know about TV ratings. I mean, you get the Minnesota market, the Dallas market. You still have the traditional Celtics where they're still in Boston. And you have Indiana coming in. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. So what else has happened this past weekend? Wasn't the Preakness run?
Yeah. Mystic Dan came in second.
All right. I actually missed it. I was like, oh, snap. I didn't see anything posted about it. Come on. They're normally all over the place with this when someone's trying to go.
Probably because he lost. If he had won, there would have been hype about it. But, a horse called Seize the Gray. It was a muddy track. It had been raining. And a horse called Seize the Gray. Congratulations, Dwayne Lucas. He's like 90 years old.
Freaking Lucas, man. This guy.
Yeah, he's back. That's his horse. Seize the Gray. Seize the Gray took the lead, and nobody could catch him. Mystic Dan tried and tried, but he came up like 2 lengths short.
Yeah, that muddy ass track though, man. Bro, take a lot out of your legs as a person. Damn sure as a horse.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. But any baseball you wanted to touch on? I know that baseball is kind of like going to take the forefront because
I know you want to talk baseball. You know what happened this weekend?
Oh, with the Yankees? Oh, I want some money on that one. Hey, they had to do it. I was like, yo, bro, this is almost guaranteed.
I told you a month ago to bet against the White Sox.
Oh, man, yo, I just saw an easy win right there. I was like, let's just run with it. I'm doing really well at the baseball games. In fact, I took 2 tonight. I took the Braves in the first 5 minutes. I took the Braves yesterday and freaking lost. What the hell's going on here? But, hey, Padres freaking had to just whoop on their ass early. They were up 3-0. I thought the Braves would come back because they have that firepower. Not yesterday with Yu Darvish pitching the way he was, killing it. But anyway, baseball as a whole right now, I don't know. it's damn. The Dodgers are playing well, but not as well as I thought they'd be playing. You know, they're talking
about.
I
saw Shohei had his first walk-off, but I didn't even click on the video. I don't know.
I saw that as well.
Was it a single, a double, a home run? I don't know.
And Ellie De La Cruz, they're saying that he's going to break Ricky Henderson's record for stolen bases.
I don't know if he's going to break his record, but he's on pace. If he gets 110, which he's on pace for, he won't be close to the record. I don't remember, but I know it's way more than 110.
Yeah, I think it's 119, 118, something like that for the year.
Really?
Ricky Henderson.
Ricky knows. Ricky was in the 120s.
Ricky knows.
Yeah, no shit. Ricky knows.
He knows every damn thing.
I thought he was in the 120s.
Oh, really? Maybe even up there, man. Because I know Ricky was.
Because I know Tim Raines and Vince Coleman, they used to steal over 100 bases, but
I mean, they had Willie McGee and Vince Coleman on those freaking Cardinals running like that at one point. But damn, man. Well, baseball is here, so I'm cool with that. I actually saw the local team here, the AAA affiliate here in Jacksonville, the Jumbo Shrimps. I saw them on the betting line. I was just happy to see them. Like, oh crap, there they go.
Wow.
So, but I didn't touch it. But anyways, I don't know. Nothing else going on. That was the box.
Caitlin Clark.
Okay.
She had a good game the other day.
Had a good game the other day, and there's still going to be haters regardless. I don't know why people are trying to just hate on this woman. And she's changing the game. You have people who are in the game, and then you keep hearing these stories about her coach saying things. I mean, nonsense. In the beginning, it was teammates saying things. What is she doing in practice that upsets you all? I mean, the team.
I haven't heard anything about her teammates. I've seen what I heard is her teammates love her.
Well, I mean, in the beginning of the season, who was that? I think their center had supposedly thrown some shade on her.
I don't know. Was she crossed her up or something?
I don't know, man. I don't know what the deal is, man. That I understand why she has.
Why am I guarding this guard? I'm too big for her.
But I understand why the hate is there, because it's coming from that faction of people who like to just use race as an issue. So that's what's going on. But as far as the overall, they're not to like about her game, man.
When you think about
the turnovers.
When you think about Tarazi's comments and stuff, you know, you can't say it's race.
Exactly. I mean, Tarazi was out there. She was my girl years ago when she was at UConn. Rebecca Lobo, I say it every time, the first pick of the NBA and WNBA coming into the Liberty. I saw those players. These were white players who were supposed to help establish the WNBA. Sue Bird came in, and they're still complaining. And now they want to make it seem like they're giving her more attention for no reason. She's the reason why people even paying attention, the reason why people even talking about it now. There have been so many players that have come through the WNBA, including Brittany Griner, who I thought would be more transcendent. And she hasn't done anything for the league in terms of putting it on the forefront, or at least giving it a lot more exposure than it was getting beforehand. They're still at a loss. Let's see how long that keeps up now that Caitlin's playing. But there are people out there who are looking for her to fail. I understand that. I understand what your agenda is. It's ignorant and stupid, but that's what your agenda is. That's how you are. She is playing for the worst team in the WNBA. That's how they got the #1 pick overall.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Exactly. Things aren't going to change automatically, but this last game, she was the reason why they even came back and kept it within 11, I think it was, when it ended. And she still had the turnover issue. Guess what? She had that in freaking Iowa too. She turned the ball over. She was just so damn good, she can come back and just bounce the scale. In the WNBA.
At least there's one list she's on that Tarazi isn't. Her, Sue Bird, Candace Parker, and someone else. Please forgive me. I'm not a WA fan. They're the only ones. No. They're the only ones to score 50 points and drop 15 assists in the first 3 games, or 50 plus points.
Was it Lisa Leslie?
No,
all right.
It was like Nikki Williams, maybe something like that. I don't know.
Yep, the same nobodies we still didn't know unless we knew about them when they came in.
But as far as people want her to fail, that's the last thing they should want, because if Caitlin Clark fails, you think there's going to be hype over someone else that's coming?
And that does come.
Like, oh, we fell for it one time. We're not falling for it again.
And she's the first of that kind, though, to actually come out.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want her. You should not want her to fail.
But you know what? Ignorance sometimes is bliss. In fact, a lot of times it's bliss, and we're seeing a lot of it now because everybody's going to micromanage her career or micro-analyze her career, regardless if the team wins or loses. If they're losing a lot because they're a bad team right now, they're going to look at what she's done. She can score 50 points, and they're still going to complain about what she's done. They're going to talk about the turnovers. They'll look for a reason to talk about she missed free throws or look at her percentage shooting 3-pointers, whatever it is, whatever the deficiency is or the shortcoming is of what she's doing, they're going to expose it. And they're trying to make this Angel Reese some type of real comparison. She's the 7th pick overall for a reason. If there was going to be a 1 and 2 pick like Magic and Bird, we can live with that. This is not what it is right now.
Yeah, but they weren't actually 1 and 2.
Oh no, well, Bird, Magic went first, right? Magic went first.
There was some
Bird come back the next year.
The way the NBA draft worked back then was weird, yeah, because the Celtics drafted Bird a year before.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I went back to. Yeah. It was the year before. I thought it was the next year, but yeah, the year before they drafted him. But yeah, it changed apparently since from then and now. But the point is still they're trying to make these two forced nemesis, whereas I don't believe there's any real comparison to it. We've seen so many players, I mean, at least heard of them because we're not watching WNBA until now. But there have been so many players like her who have come through the pipeline, like Candace Parker. I kept up with her when she was in Tennessee because, hell, she was a damn good player, even in high school coming into Tennessee. Reese is nothing like her. She's not as good as her.
I'll say this much, though. If Caitlin Clark didn't shoot the deep threes, I don't care if she's the all-time leading scorer. She would not have gotten my attention.
Oh, bro, and the way she was hitting those threes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. It was extremely.
Maybe with the dimes she was dropping, maybe. But, you know, if she wasn't shooting from 30, 35 from the logo, okay, you scored 30 points. Good for you. But the way she was doing it, that's what got my attention.
Her team is so bad, and the teams they're playing against she's overmatched by those teams. They're double teaming her. They're trying to do everything they can, and she's still getting her points. She's still getting, you know, and because of that pressure, well, I'm sure the turnovers are going to continue to kind of fall because, well, she had 3 turnovers. She had 10 turnovers in the beginning. I think she had 3 for a little while, then it went up from there. But I mean, well, 3 in the previous game, 8 in this last game.
But this last game, I tuned in the second half, and what I saw, and from the highlights, it looks like Caitlin's like, you know what, I'm just gonna be me. Because she took deep shots. She splashed some deep threes.
Alicia, that's it.
Right. Where I think her coach is telling her, hey, look, you don't have to shoot from way out there. This isn't Iowa. You have more talent on this team. Hey, why are you gonna put handcuffs on a generational talent?
Let her freelance, exactly.
Exactly. So it looked like she was being more herself. And if she's allowed to do that, she's gonna start playing better.
And I think these coaches and their egos, no one ever cared about them outside of their family and people who, the kind of 3 or 4 people who watched the WNBA before. Now that all eyes are on them, she wants them to know that she's in control, even though Caitlin's the name and the brand. And when Caitlin does what she does, man, I think that's the reason why that game was close because they've been blown out the entire time they've been playing so far this season, 3 games.
Yeah.
But Caitlin's the reason why I think they lost by 11 when it should have been more. And that team is pretty damn bad. They should be losing by 20, 25 points.
Yeah. What's crazy is, well, I don't know if it's just the team they were playing, but they look, I'm gonna say they look like midgets, but they didn't have no size in comparison. You know, they dump it inside and chicks are getting their shots blocked.
Liberty just killed them twice back-to-back games.
Yeah. Like the Liberty, I don't know if the Liberty are a big team for the league or if the Pacers are just small for the league.
I know they got like 6'5" centers and stuff like that. 6'4" centers, man. Yeah, but I still want to see the McDonald's All-American team play them. See how that goes. We'll have a little bit more controversy to talk about. But until then, it'll be Thursday. And by then, we would know at least what's going on with these Celtics and Indiana Pacers, at least the first game, even the second game. You know, it'll be starting that Thursday. And then we'll get to talk about all these other games as well. And something else or other things that may come through the pipeline as we get into that point of the year.
Your boy, Trevor Lawrence, getting a bag.
Trevor Lawrence, man, my boy, I like the guy. Well, I mean, he regressed last year, and I don't know what the deal was, and it wasn't a regression to where there was an injury involved. He did get injured. But before the injuries, man, he was just missing receivers wide.
Wait. Let me ask you a question because I mentioned it. Caleb Williams came up with the bear claw, right? And I said, I don't know if it's cool. I don't know if it, I don't know what to make of it. But I saw a meme saying that Packers fans calling it lame. Those fuckers wear a block of cheese on their head and they got the nerve to call something lame. Are you kidding me?
Hey, Pot. Hey, Kettle, I'm black.
Packers fans with the cheese on your head, man. Fuck out
Come
of here.
on. Bro, hey, you know what? If it's going to add to the rivalry, man, come on.
I'm just saying, man, yo, if I were a block of cheese on my head, I'd be quiet about somebody else's.
Somebody's bear claw. They're gonna start selling those bear claws, I'm sure, at the games and outside.
And I'm a Cornhusker fan. I don't wear the corn on my head.
Corn in the cob with his head.
Some Husker Nation do. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna go
for decades.
I'm not gonna talk junk about somebody else's tradition because somebody can make fun of the cornheads.
And that's your biggest nemesis, your biggest rival, the freaking Green Bay Packers, making that little shade talk right there. But hey, it might make for an exciting game. And if Caleb Williams is what they say he is, hell, that would be even more exciting if he could pull a CJ Stroud against their asses. But they have their own love.
We'll see.
But anyways, we'll just wait until Thursday. We'll get to see a whole bunch of other things that might come through the pipeline in between time. But until then, he's biased. I'm Trav, and the Sports Bag Bros podcast is out on the Monday. Until next time, deuces.
Peace.